you've brought home that dog and you've forgotten how difficult some of the training can be because you remember your last dog and you just think, was it this hard? You know what? I'm going to say, most likely, you just have forgotten the difficult stages you went through training your last dog. And you feel like this is so much more difficult with this dog because you still compare them to the past dog when they were trained and in sync with you and your life. So I'm Linda Kwan, and I am the owner and trainer at Wow Bow Wow. I specialize in working with pup parents, with family dogs, companion dogs, and I help them when they bring home the puppy, the baby puppy, like 2 to 4 months old, as well as when they are going through the adolescent stage, the teen stage, the wild child, as one of my clients call them. And that may start about 4 or 5 months old till about maybe 2, maybe even up to 3 years old. And then, of course, I also work with pup parents with mature dogs, whether their dog has started a behavior they want to change, or they brought home a rescue dog that's more mature. So, back to the concepts of training and how, if you understand and implement what I share with you, it will go so much smoother. And you know what? There are going to be hiccups. It is and can be difficult as you're going through the first couple of years with your dog. But you know what? They are with you for many, many years after that. And then you will remember them fondly as you remember the last dog you had. So, to share some of the concepts, the first thing I wanted to say is, when people ask me to help them train their dog, they believe that it basically involves me teaching them how to do the mechanics, the physical part of the training, to sit and down and coming to you and things like that. But it's more than that, a lot more than that. And a couple of things I wanted to address here is that when you're working with your dog, you have to understand, why they may be doing certain behaviors. So, one of the issues that people don't get until they finally hear it from a trainer, or maybe even see it on a YouTube or Google it, is that, dogs will do behaviors that get the results they want. I mean, we do the same thing. So for them, if, they go in the kitchen and they find food on the counter, you're going to see them going in the kitchen and checking out what's on the counter. If they come up to people and they, in the beginning when they're really small, they probably like jumped up, put their 2 paws up on the human's lap and say, hey, pay attention to me, give me kisses. And the human does, they got what they want. So they will repeat that. And eventually you'll notice as they get bigger, oh, they're jumping on me and my guests, and they're getting too big for that. Now, other things that you may want to consider is, they are living sentient beings. And as living sentient beings, they have like innate needs as well as genetic needs. Think about what your dog was bred to do. Maybe they were bred to hunt small rodents. So, you know what? Your Jack Russell Terrier or any kind of terrier will dig up parts of your backyard. Or, you got that little fancy toy from the store, and what do? They tear it apart. You know, they were bred to hunt down, shake till it's dead, and then gut the toy. So they destroy the toys. You're going, why are you tearing up your toy? Well, that's what they were bred to do. So if you keep these in mind as you're training them, maybe you'll have a better understanding of why they are doing these, in your opinion, at this point, undesired behaviors, whether it be like pulling you along on the leash on their walks. Because dogs, sniffing, using their nose is one of the biggest pleasures for a dog, because that particular the scent actually, the organ, is so miraculous in how it can identify, categorize objects, time even. It's amazing what they can do with their nose, and it brings them great pleasure. And so they may drag you along on their walks. So what do you have to do? You have to teach them how to walk better with you, along with you, be able to disengage from such things as scent on the full walk. Personally, I allow my dogs to stop and smell. So, and I do recommend my clients do the same, to allow their dog to smell instead of being in a heel position the whole walk. So if you have a better understanding of what your dog is, who your dog is, and what they need, you know what? Training will become easier, because then you can consider what can you provide them so they fulfill those needs. Now, the next part of training, because there may be behaviors that you don't want them to do. And what you don't want them to do is actually continue practicing such undesired behavior. Like the example of jumping on people. So when guests come over or when you come in, you may have to put up a barrier or put them on a leash, away from the other humans that are coming in the house, and teach them to be on all four before you actually say good boy, good girl, reward them. So managing, putting up gates or keeping them in a certain room for potty training purposes, to prevent the continuation of unwanted behaviors, is also an important concept to understand. Because while you're doing that, trying to prevent, you're trying to teach them the behaviors you want. And this is what I highly, highly and repetitively tell my clients, is once they start teaching their dog the behavior they want, and the dog starts, automatically giving those new behaviors, new habitual behaviors, I want the pet parents to continue to proactively encourage and promote the new desired behaviors. Now, eventually, you may not have to, say good boy, good girl on a regular basis. But for a while there, I want you to be very proactive when they automatically start doing the desired behaviors. And then lastly, an issue that I run into is people say, well, my dog can do this and this and this in the house, but once we're outside, they don't know I'm here. They don't hear me. Well, that comes down to teaching your dog two things. It's disengagement from the environment, because the environment can be too stimulating for them. And also, you may have to take it back a couple of steps. They may not be able to focus when they are so distracted. So you may take the next step from inside the house to maybe just in the back patio or the backyard, where there's a smaller incremental stage of um, of distractions in the environment that they could possibly handle and still do the behaviors and cues you're asking them to do. And then, that also goes to distance. Maybe they can come to you like within 6 feet in the house, but maybe outside they can't. So you may have to like shorten the distance and then slowly increase the distance and even increase not just the distance, but maybe being out of sight when you call them. So it's incremental stages of difficulty is what you want to do. And if your dog is not doing what you normally believe they could do, most likely it's distractions or that you've moved forward too quickly in the difficulty for them to accomplish what you want. Well, I hope you found my training tips helpful and you really take to heart that, I know you love your dog, but sometimes training them can be difficult, frustrating. And if you're in public and they're displaying these unwanted behaviors, embarrassing, and you feel like people are like judging you. But you know what? Don't worry about that. You are trying to build the connection with your dog, communication skills with your dog, and helping your dog level up to the behaviors and the dog that you want in your life, why you brought home that dog. And you will remember them as fondly as you did the last dog. All right. I will see you next Tuesday.